Okay, this is for questions about having a variable in the denominator, and it's about resolving the vectors. So first of all, I just want to verify that you did set this up correctly, that this is, when you resort this into a triangle, that you have the tension, you have the horizontal component, you have the weight, and you're given the weight, 43, you're given the angle, and then in order to find t, in this case, you're going to find both of them, but in this particular case, you want to find t, that you would set this up to be the cosine of 45 is adjacent over hypotenuse. So this is the correct setup. So I just wanted to start there to tell you that you're on the right track. So setting that aside for a moment, let's come over here and let's look at this. One of the rules I always tell my students is if you come across something, try and solve a simpler problem first. So you see the mechanics of how it works without the numbers getting too confusing. So let's just look at this and pretend I was asking you to solve for x, meaning get x on one side of the equation by itself. So when I'm here with something equals a fraction, usually I want to get rid of the fraction first. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by x. The reason I'm doing that is because that's going to cancel out over here. Okay, so then when I simplify this, x times 3 is 3x, and these x's cancel. So I'm left with 8. Okay, now is the x by itself yet? No, it's not. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I'll divide this side by 3, and then divide that side by 3. And then these 3's cancel, so I'm left with x equals 8/3. So that was 2 steps to get the x over here. But what I really want you to see is that there's a super easy shortcut. Do you notice where the 3 was in the initial problem and the x was in the initial problem? Let me actually write it over here next to it so we don't have these other x's being confused. So this was the original problem here. Do you notice where the 3 is and where the x is? And you notice after doing this work, do you notice where they are in relation to each other? Do you notice? They just have swapped spots. They literally have just swapped spots. The x moves on the other side, and the 3 moves down to the denominator position via this algebra, this 2-step algebra problem. So if I say to you, let's have 13 equals 5 over y, you should now realize, oh, I can simply just say y equals 5/13 just by swapping those positions. No work needs to be shown there because I know how to do these 2 steps. You see what I'm saying? It's a shortcut. So now let's go back over here to your problem. And what I'm going to do is swap both of those. And remember, the steps were, if you want to know what the steps are, remember we're multiplying both sides by the denominator. We always multiply by whatever the denominator is to cancel it, to get rid of it. Because we don't want to have fractions in our work, if possible. It just makes things a little more complicated. So without the shortcut, I'm going to show you the steps. Multiply both sides by t. Multiply both sides by t. So then this side becomes 43 because t times 43 over t is just 43. This side becomes t times cosine 45. Then I divide both sides by cosine 45. So t equals 43 divided by cosine 45. And then that's just, you just put that in your calculator. That's just a calculator answer. But again, notice these just swapped positions. They just swapped positions. So as soon as you see that going on, you can just swap them out. All right, if you need any more help or another example, please don't hesitate to ask. Happy to help.